Since you're all the experts, what's on your personal radar over the next 6 months? What are you planning personally in your investment journey, and what do you hope to see happen for your own journey moving forward, especially after what we're going through at the moment?
What's my next move personally and in the business? And it's amazing how my personal move and my business move has changed in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I invested rather heavily towards the end of last year, and myself personally. And my sort of the projection is that the market was supposed to do very well this year. And I used some of the economic fundamentals saying that the interest rate is rather low, the rent seems to be okay, demand seems to be quite big. So property price will go through rather a strong swing. So I invested rather strongly, and I said this is the year that I was going to stay on the side of it, let the market go crazy, let the market do whatever it does. If anything, I may even potentially consider sell 1 or 2 properties just to clean away my portfolio as such. So that was only about 2-3 weeks ago. Now, since then, the world has changed because of everything sort of dropping. All of a sudden, I'm seeing many of my properties in sort of different areas with significant level of price reduction as such. So I'm very carefully thinking that, well, is it a time of opportunity? Is it a time of absolute unique, once in a lifetime opportunity as such? So my next move is that I'm organizing finance and funding from my personal side of it, and I would be actively going back into the market over the next 6 months with significant level of investment, both as an investment point of view as well as the acquisition of the business side of it, as long as the underlying fundamental, both the investment as well as the acquisition, are right, because I still believe in the long-term sustainability of the economy. I understand we'll go through a short-term issue, and I think in the longer period of time that you would look back and you would say some of the songs that you could have at this stage, those were once-in-a-lifetime songs.
This is a very interesting time, has forced me to think differently. And one of the interesting incident happened earlier this week. One of my client called me and said, Jack, you know what, hey Jack, congratulations. I'm like, okay, we're going through all this, I never heard this word in this period of time. So I said, okay, tell me what happened. And he's saying, Jack, we made a commitment 5 years ago, we did the strategy, and we said that, we're going to pay off our mortgage by 2021, and we stick to our discipline. And then you kept us on, every now and then you were monitoring and saying, how are you doing? Guess what? We have already paid off our mortgage. And it was such a relief. I think I had a very happy moment in that time. Such a relief that basically they didn't pay off the mortgage because of me. I just guided them. It was their own self-discipline. So I am thinking in this period of time that how can I shift my business? How can I add something more so I can add more value to people's life? How can I give them that money discipline? What can we do? How can I structure? So yes, over the next this time I'm gonna take some time out and develop some new product which I want to help my members more aggressively to structure and have those money disciplines, so when the crisis hit, you are in a safe position. You are like that client who is happy about that, during this time I don't have to worry about interest rate, I don't have to pay about my mortgage. So yeah, I'm gonna spend this 6 months of time to develop a new product.
For me, my situation's a little bit different. No offense to the two of you, but I think you may have been in business longer than I've been alive. So, we have a slightly different situation.
Thanks, James.
And you're welcome. For me personally, right now has been about clearing up what I've got right now to position myself for that next step. So there's things, I sent an email out to every one of my clients recently about getting money out of redraw. Get it out of your redraw, you might lose it in there. Put it in an offset account, put it in a savings account, have it somewhere that's liquid. You can use it, right? I'm looking at refinancing loans. Can I get a high LVR now locked in? Right? That may not be available in the future. Right? Can I take advantage of the low interest rate? Fantastic. How can I free up capital, free up equity for that next step? But right now I'm being guided by probably the first piece of advice I ever got given in my career, which was, James, go and talk to someone that bought a property in the 1980s. Do they wish they still had that property now? James, go and talk to someone that bought a property in the 1990s. Do they wish they still had that property? Talk to someone in the 2000s. Do they wish they still had that property? Talk to them in the 2010s. Right? Do they wish they still had it? Everybody wishes they still had that property. Or if they do still have it, they're very wealthy. Right? We've been through a recession in the 90s. We've been through a dip in the early 2000s. We went through a GFC in 2008. Right? It just doesn't matter what happens in these things. Over the long term, these people absolutely regret not buying property. I remember sitting with a client who got offered his dad's property in Cogra for $80,000 in like 1990 something. And he turned it down because that was an obscene price, and why would you pay that for a property? Right? And now he's saying that property isn't 10 times more valuable, it's like 30 times more valuable than what I could have paid for it. Right? That's my guiding principle at the moment. That's why I'm gearing myself up, because if I can get property now at a high LVR and at an acceptable price, there's just no question that in 2030, in 2040, that I'm going to appreciate that property. It's as solid as any science that we have on investment.
I was doing some calculation on compound interest, right? And I shared this in my last webinar. If someone starts putting $200 at the age of 25 and at a 7% compound interest, by the time they will be 65, it will be worth $2.2 million. And you would say that, you know what, how amazing is that? Most people, if they want to, they can put that money aside, with a bit of discipline. 2.2 million. We never have to discuss about our super. We never have to discuss about all these things if we just doing that. And plus, if you add the property on top, you can be multi-millionaire. And if you drop it, if you don't do it, and a lot of people don't do it till the age of 45, 50, that's when we start seeing the future, right? Oh yeah, you know what, 65 is coming closer, I'm going to retire, so I better do something. And if you are at the age of 55, let's say, if you start late, the same money which is going to be 2.2 million at 55, that money going to be $150,000 only. If you do it only for 10 years, 55 to 65, that $200 it's 7%. Same money, save everything. What changed? Time. So guys, I just want to say everyone that, guys, time is the most important thing. And time is the biggest healer, and time is the biggest prosperity factor.
I've got this very good client of mine. The client shares that a story of great-grandma had this piece of land in the middle of nowhere. There was a little bit of water in front of it, but no one used to go in there. It's a great-grandma, right? So it's a sort of a bit of a bushland. It was a bit of a water, no one goes. And the grandma looked into it saying, who lives in that bush? Who lives in those area, right? So great-grandma. So she sold it because there's no use to it. That was in Bondi Junction. And it was over 1 acre of land. It was right outside the sea. And this lady says, I don't know whether I to be remembering my great-grandma with a lot of fondness, or I said, what have we done? No, I definitely don't want my great-grandson or great-granddaughter to say the same thing about myself. So I'm keeping my investments.